Welcome to Tuesday Talks, which is all about human conversations for business people. And today I'm absolutely thrilled to have Sharon Morrissey, who is a person who helps people have conversations with one another, because she is a mediator and a conflict resolution therapist. You're very welcome, Sharon.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here.
Yes. So can you tell me, how did you get started into this kind of business?
Yeah, I had been working with families and children in vulnerable situations for years. So I suppose I saw that there was people that were really disillusioned with the court process when relationships broke down.
Okay.
So and that was having a direct impact then on children and how they were able to communicate with both parents. So through my work, I kind of thought there had to be some other way of dealing with this. So I knew very little about mediation at the start. So I went back and I studied a postgraduate certificate in mediation, and then I did a conflict management, master's in conflict management. So through that work, I suppose I saw the positive impact that having people talk to each other as opposed to decisions being imposed on them made. So that's basically how I got
So what is that impact? What's the difference between, say, a family that they're having decisions like imposed on them, or to a family that decide themselves through mediation what way they will move forward?
Well, I suppose when a decision is imposed on you, you don't really have to buy into it as such. So sometimes people do he can't tell me what to do, or she can't tell me what to do, and therefore there's no ownership of the decision. So with mediation, it is really, really hard. Going to court on one level is quite easy because somebody is telling you what to do, whereas when you have to sit with your opposite number for the world and you're sitting down trying to figure out what is the right thing to do, there's a lot of personal responsibility in that, and that can be quite difficult for people who are, emotionally hurt by the breakdown of a relationship. And that's why having a mediator there is it helps people talk through from their positions to what they really, really want to do and how they want things to work. And that's my role as a mediator then, to help people see that. The decisions then also belong to the participants. So they're more invested in making it work.
They're more powerful.
Yes. And there is an ownership. So we decided this together in our best interests, in the best interests of our children, in the best interests of the business. We've decided this. We can no longer live together or work together, but we have decided how to move forward. So that's why mediation works.
But to me, mediation is about taking somebody out of an entrenched position where they think, I'm right, you're wrong. They actually rise above it, and they actually see what the best situation is, probably for their kids and for the overall family unit. And it's about dropping your ego that I'm right,
And that's a very vulnerable position for both to be in. It kind of strips you of your beliefs. And it's much easier for people to feel right in a difficult position than to feel wrong. And having to drop that and see it from the other person's point of view can be quite transformative.
Absolutely.
And I suppose my role is to help both people hear the views of the other. And also my role would be to kind of take out the sting in it a little bit, so to reframe positively in so far as possible. But mediation is good because it's a moving forward. We do have to hear a little bit about what has happened before and what has brought you to this place. But in general, it's about the moving forward. How are we going to move forward together, separately, if that makes sense? Because parents are always going to be parents, and they're going to be grandparents and great-grandparents, please God. And that's just the way it goes when children are involved. And of course, it's more healthy for children when they see, okay, mum and dad may not live together, however, they can agree over things like where we're going, who we're going, where birthdays are going to be, and that's going to make your child more emotionally resilient.
And what do you think is the greatest impact for the kids, for children, like of any age, even up to teenagers, when they can see their parents are actually involved in a mediation process and it's not like battleground?
Well, I suppose when they see their parents are taking the time out to talk to each other about their needs and their wants. I mean, obviously that's going to make a child feel that their interests are being seen first. You know, what I say to parents when they're really entrenched or in difficult position, that this child is 50% mom, 50% dad. You made this child together. So if one or the other of you are giving out about each other, in effect what a child hears is half of me is wrong, half of me is bad. Right. And that's a very powerful message. And I think when parents really hear that, they just want to stop. They want to stop that. Because no parent wants to hurt their children. Nobody. Do you know? And like when a relationship breaks down, it's really difficult because I suppose when somebody dies, for example, you're not asking a parent to get up, get the kids to school, get them, you know, feed them, make sure there's enough money in the kitty to make sure everything's okay. But when a relationship breaks down, or a marriage, or you know, a relationship breaks down, that's exactly what you're asking the parents to do. So they don't have time to grieve the loss of that relationship themselves. So mediation kind of puts all that on the table, and whereas it's not a therapeutic intervention, you know, what it does do is it lets the parties hear from both sides what it's been like for them. So that's why it's powerful, and that's why it works.
So it must be really empowering for them, and like a lovely feeling for you to see two people actually having a conversation at the end of the process with you, instead of being at loggerheads and battle war zone at the beginning.
It's lovely, and I think what's really good about mediation is that I have a chance to build rapport with both of the people I'm working with. But if they need support, we'll say, for example, to work out access in the short term, when a child gets to maybe 7, they're able to have these conversations about what the communion is going to look like. And if they can't have those conversations, they know, oh, hang on, there's that girl or that man that helped me before. We'll go back to them to help us make a decision again about what's happening. So what it does is it helps parties communicate with each other. So it's very empowering, you know, as a facilitator to see that as well. Not a huge amount of mediations will settle on a day. They won't. But what you would find is, or what I find is that after maybe 2 or 3 days, you'll get the phone call saying, okay, what we said about A, B and C, I think that might work. So that's, you know, I suppose to be really honest about what a success is, you know, it's something that you have to reflect on and be very mindful of. If two people can leave the room and not be as angry with one another as they were coming in, that's a success.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you had one piece of advice to give to somebody who is at the start of this process of a relationship breakdown, what piece of advice would you give them?
It is very difficult to hear anything when you're so angry about the loss, or so sad about the loss of your ideas, your ideals, your hopes for the future. All of those are going to have been ripped away at this point. So to hear another perspective is probably quite difficult. The one piece of advice I would have would be to try and hear that other person's perspective. And if that involves somebody having to sit in a room with you and have it reframed, I think that is probably the wisest decision that you will make. Because it is only through both people hearing what it's been like for the other can you start to move forward and to formulate a plan to go forward. And that part is vitally important. I suppose friends can do it, and you know, family members could do it, but it's hard for them too, because they're also involved in the loss. And I suppose I'd see a lot of the times that people will align themselves with one person or another, whereas being a mediator, you have to be completely impartial.
Independent.
And that can be very, very beneficial for people. It is very beneficial for people, to have the story, you know, retold from an impartial point of view.
Absolutely, So if people are looking for you, Sharon, where can they find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, and we have a Facebook page, and at the moment we're redoing the website, and then, but on the old website there are phone numbers and other contact details.
So what's the name of the website?
So it will be Sharon Morrissey Mediation and Conflict Resolution.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you too
Absolutely.
very much. It was a pleasure.